Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome to your Enhancement Talent Review for SmackDown Live, August 20th, 2019. If that was not the goofiest ending I have ever seen to a show, I don't even know what is. Man, oh man, this show. WWE has been good lately. I've been praising them for improving. Raw was eventful last night. You know, SmackDown hasn't been bad. But we get to this show. And there was not a lot of good. In fact, there was a lot of very, very bad. And one thing in particular that is potentially very bad. But we'll run through all that. We're going to go segment by segment as we always do. Starting off with Randy Orton opening the show. He cuts a quick promo saying how Kofi Kingston ran from a fight at SummerSlam, and he gloats about what they did to Xavier Woods on Raw with the help of the Revival and making Kofi watch. Kofi's music hits, but is nowhere to be seen. Randy stares up at the ramp, but Kofi blindsides him from behind. Hits a Trouble in Paradise, goes to get a chair and wrap it around Orton's leg, but the Revival run in to make the save. Kofi takes them out with a chair, but Orton gets away. You know, it had to happen. Kofi needed to get something back over on them after what happened on Monday, so don't mind this at all. It was a good, serious ass-kicking moment for Kofi, so you know, nothing to complain about there. After this, we get the first of these backstage segments with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. There was another one later. We'll get to it in a minute. But Owens comes in to Shane McMahon's office, and he somberly says that, you know, what he did was wrong. He shouldn't have struck an official. And he sucks up to Shane, says that, you know, you're a father, you're a good father. You know, you might not be able to relate with how much $100,000 means to me, but whatever. I want you to reconsider. And Shane says he'll take it under consideration. Yeah, more of this, just making Owens look like a nobody. Fine angles. Just I never care for them, and this stuff coming off the high that Owens had during the after the promo he cut like a couple months ago. This is just a major come down. After this, we got Apollo Cruz versus Andrade. It was a fine match. The two work well together, but, you know, it is an Apollo Cruz match. So, you know, he always does good stuff, but you know what's going to happen in the end. Apollo is looking for a DDT, but Vega holds Andrade's leg from the outside. Cruz pulls Andrade away. So now Vega is not holding on to Andrade at this point. But Cruz drops him anyway to yell at Vega like an idiot. So that distraction gets him hit with a back elbow and then a Hammerlock DDT for the win. Andrade carries on to the next round. And, you know, I'm thinking that he might be the winner of this. But we shall see. I don't really care for Vega getting involved in every match that Andrade has. Like, against someone like Apollo Cruz, I feel like Andrade should be able to just beat him on his own. But, you know, whatever. There was some 24/7 stuff with Drake Maverick. The 24/7 rules are suspended again per Shane McMahon. The 24/7 championship, except when it's not. We have a moment of bliss with Charlotte and Alexa with Nikki Cross, the tag team champions. This was the only bit of women's involvement on this show, and it wasn't even a match. So, a moment of bliss with Charlotte. Charlotte says that, Charlotte talks about Bailey. Alexa asks her questions about Bailey, and Charlotte says she's better or whatever. Bailey comes out. She cuts, Elaine Bailey promo. Charlotte says that she'll beat Bailey for the title at Clash of Champions. Bailey says if that's a challenge, she accepts. And then she pushes Charlotte's chair that she is sitting in over. And that's it. This segment had no reason for Bliss and Cross to be there. Other than just to have a stupid talk show. I just don't get the point of these stupid freaking talk shows and why they're even a thing. There was another one later, too, but I don't know. It's just like a way that we need to get this Bailey and Charlotte match official, so we'll do it on this talk show. I just don't care. And this didn't really do much. I mean, Bailey and Charlotte was bound to happen, and Bailey's going to say goodbye to that title sooner than later. But, they're just doing a terrible job giving me any reason to care about any of the women's division, practically. Like, Becky and Sasha are really all that is, has any sort of steam behind it. Charlotte too. I mean, Bailey has had a boring run since winning the title at Money in the Bank, and they killed Ember Moon in the past couple weeks, and there's just no one credible outside of the four horsewomen. There's no one, man. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross already beat the whole women's tag team division. There's no one that is credible or has any reason to really care about them. And, it's a combination of a lot of things, and most of it is just that WWE doesn't seem to have time to invest in them. Or they just don't want to, or however you want to say it, but it just doesn't make sense why Charlotte and the rest of the four horsewomen are the only ones that feel like they matter at all. And, Alexa Bliss, who manages to win everything, too, despite being one of the least interesting in the ring of anyone on the women's roster. But, that's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there how they killed Nikki Cross's character in this tag team and what happened to the Nikki Cross we all knew in NXT. It's all been said. It's clear that they just don't care. And if they don't care, I'm not going to care. And I shouldn't have even justified it with this much time talking about it because there's nothing to talk about. After this, we got Daniel Bryan versus Buddy Murphy. This was probably the only good thing on the show. Really good match. I would say it probably wasn't as good as the Buddy Murphy and Roman Reigns match the week prior. But, this was really good stuff. Bryan worked really well with Murphy. And, he cut the promo beforehand because Murphy tells Roman backstage that he's pretty sure that it was Eric Rowan. But Daniel Bryan insists that Murphy is a liar. And he continues to yell that at him throughout the match. And, there was the one spot I did really like was the LeBell Lock spot because sometimes, like, Samoa Joe does it where he'll transition from one submission to another. But the problem is that sometimes it doesn't look like there's a reason to switch the submission. In this case, he has the LeBell Lock locked in, and because Murphy is starting to break it, he transitions it into a Rings of Saturn. And then when Murphy starts to break that, he puts it back in the LeBell Lock. So, good mat stuff and grappling stuff from Daniel Bryan. Finish comes with Murphy hitting the step-up knee into a brainbuster. Bryan gets his foot on the rope on the pin, which Eric Rowan hops on the apron. I'm sorry, Rowan, the former Eric. He hops on the apron and points out to the ref that he did that. The foot's on the ropes. From that point, Rowan continues to stand on the apron. Murphy goes for a super kick on Bryan, but Bryan gets out of the way. Rowan eats the super kick and falls to the floor. Bryan gets the roll up, but Murphy kicks out and hits a Murphy's Law for the win. And such a huge win for Buddy Murphy. The crowd were into him the whole match. Daniel Bryan, kudos to him for putting the guy over, and he's been doing such a good job of getting so many people over, starting with Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. And, this is a big win for Murphy. Possibly, maybe going more babyface. Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. I'm into Murphy. I think he can make a much better babyface than a heel, too. I mean, he does so much in the ring that, is crowd-pleasing that I don't really see him as a heel. And, he has the sort of smugness about his attitude and whatnot, but I feel like you can make that work as a babyface, especially throughout this storyline where Daniel Bryan continues to drag him into this thing. After this, Murphy is supposed to have an interview, but Rowan attacks him and lays him out with a claw slam. After which he gets the big win, and then he gets the sympathy spot here. And next week he's going to be in the King of the Ring tournament. I'm looking for big things for Buddy Murphy. I have Andrade winning, but I could definitely see Buddy Murphy winning if they really want to invest in him. After this, we have the Revival versus Heavy Machinery. The Revival have taped ribs a la Seth Rollins. They sold the ribs more than Seth Rollins ever does, but nonetheless. Prior to the match, Revival challenged New Day to a tag team championship match at Clash of Champions, even though they're a Raw tag team. And the Revival go against Heavy Machinery. Run-of-the-mill match, nothing special, and Revival win with a roll-up. Chad Gable has a backstage interview. I'm just going to start running through shit now. Chad Gable has a backstage interview. Shelton Benjamin walks out of the locker room and sees that Gable is having this interview, so he goes back into the locker room and then puts a sign on the locker room door and walks away. Chad Gable turns around and sees that it's a sign that says, "You must be this tall to be in the King of the Ring tournament." Yeah, Shorty G is possibly what Chad Gable is going to be referred as going forward. Yeah, Benjamin and Gable will have I believe they're going to be facing each other in the King of the Ring tournament next week. I don't know what happened to the Shelton Benjamin gimmick of the Wandering Eyes thing. If that had ever been planned to lead to anything, but it appears that it is no more. We have a Miz TV segment with Sami Zayn, who apparently requested this Miz TV appearance. Sami says he doesn't care about Miz or his show and just needed TV time, he says. Says he's done nothing but lose for months and has decided that he should be helping others instead. And out comes Shinsuke Nakamura, as he is the guy that Sami Zayn is allegedly going to help. Miz asks Nakamura why he needs Zayn when he's the Intercontinental Champion. Nakamura allows Zayn to respond, asking Miz why he expects Nakamura to answer that in the language that he understands instead of his own language. Says that Nakamura is an artist and shouldn't have to go through expressing himself in English. Nakamura kicks Miz in the back of the head and beats him down, hits a Kinshasa on the Miz, and that's the segment. So Sami Zayn managing now Nakamura is fascinating. Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. And now, for whatever reason, he's going to be with Sami Zayn. Probably for the exact reasons that Zayn is talking about, because Nakamura doesn't, he speaks English fine, but, he has an accent. But, whatever. I mean, we'll see where it goes. I won't judge much either way, but Sami Zayn has been a doormat since he returned, so I guess it makes sense to try to do something different with him. I'll leave judgment open until we see more from them. After this, now is where we get to the ranting portion of this podcast. Kevin Owens is called back into Shane McMahon's office. Shane says he's reconsidering, but says that Owens should apologize for what he did, striking a WWE official, which Owens does. He says he's sorry, he shouldn't have done that, and I just shake my head. I shake my head, because this is the same exact thing that they did that ruined Becky Lynch for so long. Right after the Royal Rumble, and, when Becky is at the peak of her popularity, when everyone is going crazy for her, and, they do the thing where they force Triple H and Stephanie force Becky to apologize. And Becky does it. And then she gets taken out of the match anyway. So, this is the same thing. Owens, the vigilante babyface, the anti-authority, apologizes. Tell me when Stone Cold ever apologized to Vince McMahon for messing up his limo or spraying him down with beer. This is terrible. I'm so against this. Owens, I couldn't give a shit less about him after this. They ruined him here. They absolutely ruined him. And, maybe they can recover from here, and, I'm sure it'll... look, I get that it's going to lead to Owens probably beating Shane McMahon again, and, probably getting the win in the end and sending Shane McMahon packing. But you can do that in a different way. This just made Owens look like an absolute bitch. And to make matters worse, we got the preceding match, which was Kevin Owens taking on Elias in the King of the Ring tournament. As the match is going on, early on, Shane's music hits, and then it goes to commercial. We come back, Shane is sitting ringside. An absolute bore of a match. Elias works over Owens for the entirety of the match after Shane comes in. Owens makes a brief comeback, dumps Elias over the top rope. Shane tells Owens to stop, then reveals that he is wearing a referee shirt. He gets in Owens' face, but Owens can't strike him because Shane is an official, and he doesn't want to get fired or double his fine because he's a little bitch. Owens gets back in the ring, but Shane follows him in. The ref that is in the ring leaves, so now Shane is the ref. Elias gets a roll-up with a fast count from Shane to win. Some prestigious tournament, huh? The prestigious King of the Ring tournament, where we have Shane McMahon come in as an official and fast count someone out of the tournament. That's really prestigious, isn't it? This was so fucking stupid. And I get it. Owens will probably get the last laugh, but this was so dumb. I can't fathom why they thought this was a good idea and why they have to cut every babyface's balls off. This was ridiculous. Owens looks significantly worse than he did a few weeks ago when he was red hot. even at SummerSlam, he was the most over guy on SummerSlam. If you would have just ended it there, it would have been perfect. But Shane has to rear his head back in. He has to make Owens look like a bitch and have him apologize to him. I'm over it. Shane McMahon has ruined this. WWE ruined Kevin Owens for me after that, the same way they ruined Becky Lynch. And anything they do after this will mean significantly less because of the cost it was done at. So fuck that. Now after this, we'll get into the other ridiculousness on the show, but this was more funny ridiculous than anything. I mean, even though this came after me being so pissed off about that match and everything with the Kevin Owens and Shane stuff. So throughout the night, Bryan has promised that we're going to see the reveal of the Roman Reigns attacker. And he brings someone in with a pillowcase over his head so that we can't see his identity. And he walks him into his own dressing room. And this is like in different segments throughout the night. And he says that they called Rowan in. He's going to be here soon, and we're going to reveal what you did. And so the closing angle on this SmackDown show. After last week, the closing angle was Daniel Bryan saying he conducted his own investigation, and he knows who did it. But we're going to wait until next week to tell you. So now, Bryan unveils this man who is a Rowan doppelganger. Bald head, ginger beard. Murphy said he was pretty sure he saw Rowan, but I guess it was this guy instead. Whoever this guy is. Roman looks on in confusion as we go off the air. So, I don't even know what to say about this. Like, where do they go from here? I mean, we know that it's going to end up being Bryan and Rowan at the end, and this is just all semantics. But, like, where do we go from here? Is Roman going to feud with the random dude that looks like Eric Rowan? Or Rowan, or whatever the fuck? Like, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what the point of hyping this up as this big reveal was, when we're expecting it, like... It would have been better for Bryan to just point the finger at someone else that, is actually on the roster. But I just don't get what they were trying to accomplish here. And, I'll keep an open mind because, it could end up being something good. But, either way, This was a flat ending, to say the least. After SmackDown went off the air, I laughed for like 5 minutes. And just at the ridiculousness of this reveal. And we'll see where it goes from here, I guess. And, just the Roman Reigns' face at the end of this, too, just made me laugh. Because the look of confusion he gave. The same look that everyone watching gave. And, yeah. This might be the fastest review I've ever done. This was such a letdown of a show. And, I gave my piece on the Kevin Owens and Shane stuff. I'm not going to go back over any of that. But, whatever. This was not a good show. And hopefully it gets better. Next week we'll have more King of the Ring stuff. Hopefully it's better. But... they really damaged the meaning of the King of the Ring tournament with that Owens and Elias match. So there's that. But, I got nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. We'll be back Monday for Raw. Later.